Imagine life without young people, teenagers, smaller kids, preschoolers. Have you ever thought, what would life be like without youngsters, without children, without young adults? I thought about that, and you know what I think life would be? Life would be boring. Why boring? Because as we get older, our tendencies to challenge ourselves, our tendencies to do things outside of the box, our tendencies to do these things, they start to diminish and decrease. But if you watch a young person, a youngster is willing to take some chances. They think in ways that are very different from their parents or from adults that they have been reared by or reared around, and they're just willing to. They're just waiting to tackle life, and sometimes a young person wants to tackle all of life at once, not realizing when you're young, uh, you have to take life in chunks. And the worst thing you can do, whether you're a young person or an older person, is bite off more than you can chew. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because young people are very impressionable. And they're watching adults. They're watching us. And whether they say it or not, they're watching us intently. And many of them want to be just like we are. But the question is, am I a good role model? Am I a good example before the young people or the young person that is watching me? Because trust me, they're watching us. How do I know it? My wife and I, we have 5 children. And I'm always amazed how some of the things that they do now are some of the very same things that my wife and I have done, are doing. And some of them are doing things that we have done that they saw us do that we have forgotten. We forgot that we used to talk that way. Hello, somebody. You ever slipped up and said some things around your kids that you shouldn't have said, whether you were upset or whatever the case may have been, and then to find out that later on in life that they are using some of those same choice words? Wow, why am I saying this? As adults, we are role models. No matter how you look at it, whether you want to accept it or not, but we are role models. And not just our young people around us, they are always looking for a mentor. They're looking for role models. They won't say it, but they watch us so carefully, and they're trying to do, say, and be some of the very things that we are. Let me show you something here. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, the Bible gives us a very clear example of what we should be doing with our young people. Take a listen. Proverbs chapter 22, verse number 6. The NIV, the New International Version, which is the version that I'm reading from now, it says it like this. It says, start children off the way they should go. The King James version says, train up a child in the way that he should go. Let me get back to the NIV. It says, start off children on the way they should go. And even when they are old, they will not turn from this. I know this is true. Many of you know this is true because as we've gotten older, what are some of those most vivid things that stand out in our mind? It's the things that my mom or my dad told me years and years ago. I sit back now. My dad, Pastor James E. Lawson Sr., may he rest in peace. I cannot begin to count the amount of things that he told me about. I heard him mention things that he said way back then that are the reason why I'm able to avoid many pitfalls that life has right now. When you're younger, sometimes we don't want to hear that constructive criticism. When we're younger, not just when we're younger, some grown people don't want to hear constructive criticism. But as a child, for a young person, they're so impressionable to where they need good role models, and not just only good role models. They need godly role models leading them in a direction that is a prudent fashion to live their life, so that later on they have something of value to mimic. What do you think? But it says, train up a child in the way, start them off, give them a good start. And I told a good friend of mine not too long ago that we often are down on young people, and unjustifiably. Do they make mistakes? Of course they make mistakes. But some of our young people are suffering because they have watched some adult role models who have not and are not training and leading them in ways that will produce a productive adult as they get older. Think about this. I know it's right. A lot of our young people are misled, and they're getting bad information because they don't have solid individuals in their lives that they can trust and count on to be that solid person, to be that beacon of light in this dark world. And that's what we need today. Not to down our children. And I'm not saying don't discipline them, because the Bible also tells us, spare the rod and you spoil the child. We don't want to spoil the child, but we need to give them instruction. We need to give them guidelines, and we need to monitor their progress. Like our parents did us. We couldn't do whatever we wanted to do when we were coming up. There were do's or don'ts. You left the house, there was a certain time you had to be back home. And if you didn't come home by that time, there were penalties to pay. Can I get a witness in here? And back then, when we were the one that was out, we thought they were doing us wrong. But no, they were trying to protect us. They were trying to get us to avoid some of the same pitfalls that they may have themselves fallen victim to. So as a parent, being a parent does not mean that, let me see how I want to put this. As a parent, that doesn't mean that you have to try and be your child's best friend. Why? Because that's a catch-22. Best friends normally go along with the program. They go with the flow. A very good best friend will challenge you. A very good best friend will tell you how they really feel, especially when you're doing something or you're going off of the beaten path to reel you back in. But if I'm as a parent, I can never forget that my role is the parent. It's not to be my kid's best friend. It's not to be their BFF. No, I'm their dad. So as a dad, I have to show my children. I have 4 girls and 1 boy. And it's rougher as a dad for the girls, because when the girls first are born, their dad is their everything. So if the dad is not leading in the right direction when they're younger, they're going to have a vision of a male figure that may not be what the dad would want their daughter as they get older to look toward, to look for, to see. But if that dad is being a solid dad, if that dad is the type of dad that could give them a hug but not afraid to be firm and stern when he has to be, that daughter is going to grow up with an understanding of the role of male, female, husband, wife, fiance, and wife to be. They're going to have a different view of what a healthy, productive relationship is going to be. Do I have a witness? But our kids are critical, and they're counting on us. They're counting on us to do those very things that will never come out of their mouth and give us kudos or congratulatory pat on the back for. No, because they're going to fight us. They're going to resist us. They're going to rebel. They're going to do all of these things contrary to what the good God-fearing role model is trying to portray or project upon them when they're young. But once they get older, boy, oh boy, they're going to remember those things. But if I as a dad, if I'm wilding out, hello somebody, if I'm the biggest fool in the town, I can't get upset with my children if they wind up the same way. You see where I'm going? So what does the word say? The word simply says, give them a chance. I'm saddened often when young people are not even given the chance to have a productive life. Some people are brought up in situations, some youngsters are born in family settings, in environments that are such that their chances of living a productive life are hampered based on things that have absolutely nothing to do with their ability to control it. That's why the Word of God puts it upon us as adults. Give them a good start. Train them up in the way that they should go. And you know why? So that when they get older, they will never forget those valuable lessons. Bless you.